linear programming, linear programming, linear programming, and the best way of tackling this linear programming, which is basically the mathematics of scarce resources. You know, resources are scarce. So you get a situation like in capital budgeting, where you are given like 20 million shillings, that is the capital which is available, but the projects you have, which you want to implement as a company, need like 30 million. So you have 20, but the demand is 30. So how do you program this capital that you have to suit the most profitable projects, which will increase the shareholders' what year value? So most importantly is for us to appreciate that linear programming is mathematics of what here? Scarce resources. These scarce resources are how should they be allocated optimally? How should they be allocated optimally? How should they be allocated optimally? But for your exam purposes, before we start looking at the graphical models, simplex models, because today I only have an hour with you, I would want us, ladies and gentlemen, to start by looking at the special cases, of linear programming, special cases of linear programming, of which there are two of them. We have what we call number one, transportation, and then number two, we have what we call the assignment. Transportation, and then number two, we have the famous assignment. Now, in most cases, you'll get your examiner giving you like 2 marks, asking for the difference between these two models, the difference between the two models. What you're supposed to know, especially for the one that I would want to do today, this assignment, mentioned there, we want to start with assignment. It's easy and common. So assignment, tell us their assignment. That the assignment is a one-to-one model. Assignment is a one-to-one model. Assignment is a one-to-one. Unlike transportation, which is a many-to-many model, assignment is a one-to-one model. What we mean by this concept of one-to-one, meaning that sources can only provide one unit. Sources can only provide one unit, and the destinations can only accept one unit as well. So what have we said? We've said one-to-one, that sources can only give one unit, and the destinations can only accept one unit on the other side of the coin. Good examples, ladies and gentlemen, will be good examples of assignment model will be assignment, say of buses, assignment of buses to routes. Assignment of buses to routes. Assuming, ladies and gentlemen, that we are just a new business which is in the transport industry, and we have bought, for example, 8 buses to start with. For us to have a national presence, what we could do is to have a situation where we have one bus targeting, for example, one province, the old provinces. I used to have 8 of them. So we have one bus, for example, for the Nyanza. We have another bus, in this case here, for example, for Western. Another bus, for example, for Central. So you can see each source here giving a bus, and the destinations over there, they're accepting only one bus. So a one-to-one model. I can also give you another example, like assignment of lecturers, to, for example, subjects, such that we can only have one lecturer for quantitative analysis, another lecturer, for example, for auditing and assurance, another lecture, ladies and gentlemen, for MIS. It's not proper for you to be given like 2 lecturers for one subject. No. Another very good classical example of this assignment is marriage. Marriage, ladies and gentlemen, marriage, we believe that it should be a husband and wife, one on one. Very, very important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can see that still most of you are not able to join our Zoom. If you're not able to join our Zoom, we have been able to have this live cast on our Facebook page. Just go to RCM Publishers. Let's continue. Now, I'd given you some handout. I'm sorry it came in a little bit late, but I would want us to go straight away to that section where you are able to see an assignment, or rather assignment topic. Go to, it's the second one. Just go on, assignment. Go on. One more page. Yes, I'm interested in this question. Now, so I would want us to go to illustration number 1 on this assignment section, illustration number 1. If you don't have that handout, we have been able to display the question on the screen. We've been able to display the question on the screen, So we are told here 4 jobs are to be allocated to 4 machines. 4 jobs are to be allocated to 4 machines in accordance with the information given below. So they have given us the jobs there and the machines. So we have jobs here. If you could bring me to the board. We have the jobs here. We have job A, job B, C, and D. And then we have our machines. So machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, and then we have machine 4 like that. The figures are row-wise. The first figure, row-wise, we have 0. So we have 0 here. The next figure is the next figure, not 0. It's 10. The first figure there is 10. The second figure, 28. The third figure, 20. 39. 13. Thank you very much. Go to row 2. Row 2, what do we have somebody here? 16, 30, 7, 28. 28. See? 33, 22, 21, 17. 17. Thank you very much. How about D? 21, 29, 27, 12. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they have given us this table. This table is a table that captures our time. In what year? Time in minutes. And then what do they want us to do? What they want us to do is to find out the allocation of time to the 4 machines, which minimizes the total running time. So they want us, ladies and gentlemen, to tell them, how do we allocate these jobs to ensure that our total time will be minimized? To ensure that our total time will be minimum. So it's an assignment question. And if it's an assignment question, an examiner who gives you an assignment question is an examiner who is wishing you success. So then, ladies and gentlemen, what I will do here straight away, is to remember the basic steps of solving an assignment question. Step number 1, check for balance. You're writing there. Step number 1, check for balance. Step number 1 is to check for balance. So how do we check for balance? Ladies and gentlemen, there is no way you can ever do an assignment question if the assignment matrix given is not a square matrix. So checking for balance, basically we are checking for squareness. And how do we check for squareness? We'll count number of rows. You count them. Rows move like this. So we have row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. So you've got 4 rows. vis-a-vis number of columns. How many columns do we have? We'll count the columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case here, number of rows are exactly equal to number of what here? Columns. We are lucky. Our problem is balanced. Our problem is balanced. Remember, as I will be showing you in the next example, if we had an unbalanced problem, then we would have created a dummy row or a dummy column. But for now, let us not talk about a problem they don't have. For now, ladies and gentlemen, we have our matrix here being a square matrix. Our problem is balanced. That is step number 1. Number 2, now we go to the reductions. We go to the regrets. So step number 2, regrets, step number 2 give us what we call the row regrets. Give us what we call the row regrets. Give us the row regrets. So for those of you who are following us on Facebook, kindly try to share this information with your friends on Facebook by sharing the post on your timeline. Just go to Facebook and share this on your timelines there, or even start a watch party to watch this with all your friends. All your friends will be very important for us. So we are saying step number 1, check for balance. Step number 2, give us row regrets. So how do you get your row regrets? It's quite easy. First of all, come and have the titles here. So we have the jobs. We have A, B, C, and then we have D. We have D. We have our machines. Machine 1, machine 2, machine 3. We have here machine what? Machine 4. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do here to be able to get my regrets, I have to read the objective of the examiner. This question is a minimization type of a question. The examiner wants us to minimize the total time. The examiner wants us to minimize the total time. So if the examiner wants us to minimize the total time, then we shall endeavor to assign these jobs to those machines which will take the lowest time to execute them. So like now A, my objective will be to take A to that particular machine, which takes the shortest time to complete A. So in short, for you to get row regrets, go to each row, identifying the smallest value. Go to each row, identifying the smallest value. So row A, what do we have here as the smallest value? It is 10. This 10 is the one that I will use as my benchmark to help me, in this case here, calculate the regrets. So like now, how do I get the regrets? In the first row regrets, what I'll do, I'll be picking the figures that we have here. I subtract the circled figure. I subtract the benchmark. So like I'll talk of 10, here 10 minus 10. So the first figure here, there is no regret at all. But if I had assigned A to this machine and it took 28 minutes, I'll be saying, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. If I knew what would have happened, I would have gone for the lowest figure. So of course, I'll be regretting the excess, How do I get this excess? You simply take 28 that you have here minus the benchmark. So 28 minus 10, that gives us what here? Somebody 18. From there, ladies and gentlemen, we have 20 minus 10, giving us what here? 10. Last one, we have 13. 13 minus 10, which will give us what here? 3. Which will give us 3. I would want to get some quick feedback. Are we together up to here? Are we on the same wavelength? If we are understanding, kindly, I would appreciate if you would say there yes or no.
Purity, yes.
Purity, yes.
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 Domitila, yes.
Domitila, yes. I remember Domitila.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So we can now continue. Remember, we are calculating row regrets for each row, one at a time, independently. Now we go to row number 2, or what you can call row B. So the first thing when you want to get your row regrets, attack the particular row, go for the smallest. If the objective of the examiner is to minimize, you always go for the smallest. But this semester, you realize that the examiner will, for example, give you profits. If he gives you profits, what do you know about profits? These are good parameters. So for profits, ladies and gentlemen, I always attack the highest. I always go for the highest. My objective here will be to maximize profits. But fortunately for this question, ladies and gentlemen, the examiner wanted us to minimize time, just like it is the case of what here costs. So now here we are, row number 2. The figures are here. So I would want to go for the minimum. For the very least, the least there is what here is 7. Having circled that, I should be able to get my figures very fast. My calculator. So we have here, ladies and gentlemen, B. So we'll have here 16. 16 minus what here? 7. 16 minus 7, ladies and gentlemen, will give us what figure? 9. We go to the second figure here. It is 30 minus the circled figure. 30 minus 7, ladies and gentlemen, gives me 20 what? 23. From there, we have the next one, which is 7. 7 minus 7. 7 minus 7 gives me 0. Ladies and gentlemen, the last one will be 28 minus 7. 28 minus 7, which will give me 20 what here? 21. 21. We go to the third row. Third row, to get regrets, first of all, identify the lowest. When you identify the lowest is what here? Somebody is 17. So then we have here 33. 33 minus 17, which gives us 16. From there, we have 22. 22 minus 17, ladies and gentlemen, this will give me 5. Then we have 21 minus 17, which gives me 4. And then the last one is 17 minus 17, which gives me 0, like that. And then now we go to D. Ladies and gentlemen, for D, what do we have here? First of all, I'll have to identify the smallest figure, which is 12. So we have 21 minus 12, giving us 9. From there, we have 29 minus 12, giving us 17. No. It is 29, yes, minus 12, giving us 17, yes. From there, we have 27 minus 12, which gives us 15. The last one is what here? Is 0. The last one is 0, like that. So my good students, I have been able to get row regrets. So remember, the first step is to check for balance. Step number 2, you give us row regrets. Step number 3, you give us what we call column regrets. Step number 3, give us the column what here? Regrets. Step number 3, give us the column regrets. Remember, rather regrets are normally both ways, row-wise and column-wise. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're writing there, tell us there very fast that column regrets are normally obtained from row regrets. Column regrets are normally obtained from row regrets. Remember, columns, like the columns of houses, they move down like these columns. So what we shall do, we shall go to the first column and pick the smallest figure as our benchmark. We go to the first column and pick the smallest figure as our benchmark and circle it like that. So we have here M1, we have M2, we have M3, we have M4. And then we have A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and what here? D. A, B, C, and then we have D there. We have D there. So what I would want us to do, we are moving column-wise. When you're moving column-wise, what have we said? The first thing you do, because these are regrets. Regrets are parameters to be minimized. In my life, I've never seen anybody in this world going for maximum regrets. Regrets are bad things. These are things, whenever you see them, you would want to regret least. And that is why the benchmark, value of reference, we are going for the lowest here, like now 0 is the lowest. So then we move downwards. Remember, the concept is you pick a figure minus what you have circled. So the first one will be 0 minus 0, which gives us 0, like that. The second one will be 9 minus 0, which gives us 9. The third one will be 16 minus 0, which gives us 16. And then we have 9 minus 0, which gives us what here? Somebody 9, like that. From there, go to the second column And remember, just like we did for row columns, for the column, or rather for the row regrets, for the column regrets, we are also going for one column, one at a time. For a column, one at a time. So column number two, select the benchmark. Benchmark is the value of reference. It happens to be the smallest. So using your calculators very fast, you should be able to deduct these 5 from each of these figures here to get the regrets. The first one is 18 minus 5, which gives me 13. Then we have 23, don't take chances. 23 minus 5, which gives us 18. Then we have, ladies and gentlemen, 5 minus 5, which gives us 0. Then we have here 17 minus 5, which gives us 12. Go to column 3. The very lowest is which one here? Somebody is 0. Column 3, the very lowest is 0. Whenever you have 0 being your benchmark, you are lucky because that particular column will retain its values. Because any value minus 0, that value remains. So we have here, ladies and gentlemen, column 3, 10 minus 0. So I'm simply going to copy the way it is. So we have 10, 0, we have 4, we have 15. The same case here with M4. M4, I can see there is a 0 somewhere. So we are talking of 3, 21 versus what here? Zeros there. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my third step. I want to see whether there are students who are able to follow. We've said that for us to be able to solve an assignment question, there are some basic steps that we have to follow. Who can list for us the first 3 basic steps that we have to follow when you want to solve an assignment question? Please give us a list in this particular comment section. Comment section, give us a list, the 3 basic steps, the first 3 basic steps that you have to follow when you want to solve an assignment question. Is there somebody who has been able to respond? I want to see whether we are together. Not yet. The 3 basic steps which have to be followed when you want to solve an assignment question. An assignment question. All the students who are not able to join us, please advise them to get us. Please advise them. Very good. I can see even some of them, ladies and gentlemen. I can see some of them are giving us answers on WhatsApp, which is very good. Very good. Very good. Thank you very much, Abu Bakari. Thank you very much. Abu Bakari has been able to give us the answer there. Even on Facebook, people are following, people are giving us answers. Great. So is there somebody who has a question, general question before we proceed? Is there anybody who has a question there? Is there anybody who has a question there? Anybody who has a question? Anyone who has a question? Anyone who has a question? Anyone who has a question? Alang Akwe, I'm using Facebook, which is very good. Very good. Please share. You're using Facebook and ensure that you are able to share. Very good. Any question? No question.
Just giving
answers. Thank you very much. Step number 4. Step number 4, we are almost there, reaching our optimality. You're almost finishing. Step number 4, you will check for optimality. Check for optimality. How do we check for optimality, ladies and gentlemen? Optimality is final, the final best. To check for optimality, we normally say that you use the least possible. Use the least possible number of lines. The least possible number of lines, the least possible number of lines to cover all zeros of the column regrets. all zeros of the column regrets, to cover all zeros of the column regrets, to cover all zeros of the column regrets. Use the least possible number of lines to cover all zeros of the column regrets. But now, Mwalimu, why should we target zeros? Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, we would want to make these assignments in a way that we shall not regret at all. I started by telling you that regrets are not good things. So we want to make assignments in a way that our regrets will be what here? 0, and that is why we are chasing for these zeros. Ladies and gentlemen, you can only ensure that the number of lines you've used are least, they are least if you start covering that row or that column that has got what here? Majority number of zeros. So whenever it comes to covering zeros, we don't cover these zeros anyhowly. We don't cover the zeros anyhowly. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall start. We start. I hope you're writing this somewhere there. That we start by covering that row or that column that has got majority number of what here? Zeros. That has got majority number of zeros. So this being a 4 by 4 matrix, I'll ask myself, is there any row or a column that has got 4 zeros? Any row or a column that has got 4 zeros? No. Is there any row or a column that has got 3 zeros? When you look at this keenly, I can't see any. Is there any row or a column that has got 2 zeros? Oh yes, there are many. Like I can see column 4 has got exactly 2 zeros. I can see C has got what here? Exactly 2 zeros. 2 zeros. 2 zeros. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm at liberty to start covering any of the two. So allow me to cover it row-wise, to cover the 2 zeros here because there's a majority row-wise. After I cover like this, I'll start right away looking for that row stroke column that has got majority number of zeros. Remember, as of now, we are looking for the ones which have got 2 zeros, the ones with the 2 zeros. So I'll again open my eyes widely. Remember now this one here is no longer considered to be having 2. Now it has only 1. So as we speak, we don't have any row or a column that has got what here? Somebody that has got 2 zeros. That has got 2 zeros. So from there, what do? We'll come and look for that row or a column that has got what here? A single zero, and we cover them. So now we are looking for single zeros, and then we cover them. Ladies and gentlemen, this has got a single zero. You can either decide to cover it this way or column-wise. Whenever I have that choice, I always prefer covering them row-wise, although you can also cover them column-wise. So I'll come and cover these. I can also see a single zero here. So this single zero, I'll come and cover it row-wise. I have the liberty also of covering it column-wise. The same case with this one, I'll come and cover it, ladies and gentlemen, here. How? Like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the key thing that you're supposed to know, whenever it comes to covering these zeros, we don't cover them anyhowly. There is a procedure. We don't cover them anyhowly. We normally look for that particular row or a column that has got majority number of zeros. That is the one that we start covering. Now we need to ask ourselves a question. How many lines have we used to cover all the zeros of this table? Number of lines used. So we have here number of lines. Number of lines used here, there are 4. We compare this with the number of rows. We compare this with the number of rows, which happens to the number of rows are moving that way, which happens to be what here? 4. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once the two parameters are the same, 4, 4, it means that we have attained our optimality. We are lucky. Although, of course, I have to set a simple example to help me illustrate this. The next question that we'll be looking at, the optimality test here will fail. And we'll be able to see how we will be able to pick it up when the optimality fails. So here we have 4 and 4, meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that the table is what here? The table is optimal. The table is optimal. The table is optimal. The table is optimal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if the table is optimal, we will go to the last step. The last step is the step of assignments. The last step is the step of now assignments. The step of assignments. The step of assignments. The step of assignments. And remember, for assignments, we normally use what we call the assignment boxes. We normally use the assignment boxes. We normally use the assignment boxes. We normally use the assignment what? Boxes. We normally use the assignment boxes. We normally use the assignment boxes. We normally use the assignment boxes. And there is a clear rule here which tells us that if it is this assignment box, you place an assignment box, in a row, or a column with a single zero. In a row or a column with a single zero. So assignment is for single zeros. Assignment is for single zeros. Assignment is for what here? Is for single zeros. Assignment is for single zeros. Assignment is for what? Single zeros. So look for single zeros. Like I can see this row has got a single zero. So if I have a single zero, I'll come and place an assignment box there, ladies and gentlemen. I'll place an assignment box here. So once I have placed an assignment box, it's a strong thing. I have to check and ensure that row-wise, I don't have any other zero there. Fortunately, I don't have. Column-wise, I do not have any other zero there. That's okay with me. Look for the next row. Do we have a single zero here? Yes. So if I have a single zero, I'll come and place an assignment box there. I'll place an assignment box there. So meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that for rows, that is okay. That is okay. We come to row C. Row C, I can see many zeros. So I can't place an assignment box there. I can't place an assignment box here. But when you come to D, I can see a single zero. So what I'll do is to come and box this single zero. And once I box it that way, ladies and gentlemen, here you have to ensure that there is no any other zero on the row, which is good. And that is why I placed that box there. But also, I have to ensure that where this assignment box is, there is no any other zero on the column. If there is a single zero, any zero I mean on this column, I have to come and cancel it. And then the moment I do that, I'll be able to go back to C. C now has got a single what here, a single zero. I'll be able to place my assignment box there. Before I ask you a question here, I would want you to see how I have done my assignments. That job A has been given to M1 in accordance to the ring. This is the ring now here. So A rings, what are the ring here? Bells A and what here? M1. And then we have B. B going to M3. So B goes to M3. Then we have got C. C goes to M2. C, according to this, goes to M2. Ladies and gentlemen, from there we have D, which will go to M what here? M4. D goes to M4. D goes to M4. D goes to M4. D goes to M4. Is there anybody who has a question for this Mwalimu this afternoon? Is there anybody who has if you have a question on the Zoom, you simply type in the comments. The same case with Facebook. If you have a question, perhaps you want Mwalimu to repeat some concepts. Remember, these concepts are always learned properly through repetition. You repeat, the number of times you repeat, the better. So as I wait for the question, remember RCM Publishers, ladies and gentlemen, publishes and sells books like this. If you buy this book, if you want, in this case here, like this revision kit of quantitative analysis, you only need to pay us just 1,000 shillings. just 1,000 shillings, you'll be able to, ladies and gentlemen, get such a book, 1,000 shillings. So we have the revision kit and we have the study text. I have a great offer for my online students. If you buy this kind of a revision book, you will be able to get access to our two online classes free of charge. Remember, our online classes, we normally charge just 100 shillings, one class, 100 shillings like that. So if you're able to buy this book like within this week, we shall be able to give you access to our next 2 live classes for free. So is there somebody who has a question there, or I need to continue? Can I continue?
Instead of covering C, is it possible to cover M4?
Instead of covering?
C, is it possible to cover M4? They both have 2 zeros.
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. Remember, we said when it comes to covering over these particular word zeros, we basically look for that row or that column that has got majority number of what here? Zeros. And then we reach the point where we say that C has got 2 zeros and M4 has got 2 zeros. So we were at liberty. We were the ones to choose between C stroke M4, which one would have decided here to cover because they meet the criteria, both of them. But I went ahead and said to myself, whenever I get that kind of a quagmire, where I'm required to make that kind of a choice, I'll always drift to covering row-wise. I like covering rows. So you can cover M4 fine, but so that we move together. Now that you guys are my lifetime students, do what Mwalimu does. Be covering what here, the rows like that. Any other question?
What happened to the zero cancel?
The zero cancel, you see, this zero cancel here gave us an opportunity over assigning C to who? To M4. But because M4 has been taken by who? D. Remember when we started, we said that assignment is a 1-to-1. So once you've done an assignment, then this other assignment is not possible. It is not possible. Perhaps what I could do for everybody to understand, I could come and repeat this process of, before I repeat, there is something very important here. Something very important. Come and give us here the time. The time. Go back to the original question, original table. So please go back to the original table that you have been able to display there on your screen. Original table that you've been able to display to display there on the screen. You'll be able to see at the intersection of A and M1, where you are seeing A and M1, how many minutes do we have? Somebody there, if you are able to read? 10 minutes. And then B and M3, if I assign B to M3 at the intersection there, I can see 7. And then I have C to M2. So we have there C to M2 is 22. And then lastly, we have D to M4. D to M4 is 12. Therefore, come and give us the total time, which is going to be our minimum. Give us our total time that is going to be our minimum. So our minimum total time, ladies and gentlemen, here will be 10 plus 7. You could take me back the video. 10 plus 7 plus 22 plus 12 here, which gives me 51. 51 what here? Minutes, which gives us 51 minutes. Is there anybody who would want me to repeat how I did place the assignment boxes, or we are comfortable we go to the next question? Are we comfortable we go to the next question? Isaac says we repeat, We repeat. Anybody else who is saying we repeat? We repeat, okay. Okay, no problem. The number of times we repeat, the better for everyone. So we have here 0, 13, 10, 3, 9, 18, 0, 21, 16, 0, 4, 0. We have 9, 12, 15, 0, So we have A, B, C, D. We have M1, M2, M3, M4. Now, the first thing we will do, once I've gotten a column regress that is balanced, the first thing that I will do is to remember the rule of checking for optimality. The one of covering all the zeros using minimum number of what here? Lines. Minimum number of lines. How do we ensure that the number of lines we shall be using will be minimum? By, ladies and gentlemen, covering that row or that column that has got majority. Number of what here? Zeros. That has got majority number of zeros. So we started by saying that this being a 4 by 4 matrix, the maximum number of zeros you can get in any row or column are 4. And we realized that there is none that has got 4 zeros. We descended down to 3. There is none which has got what here? 3 zeros. From there we went to what here? Somebody? To 2. Now we are searching for that row or that column that has got 2 zeros. We said this has got 2, this has got 2. So you can cover either. And I chose to cover what here? This C. After covering that, I'll still go back and ask myself which one has got exactly 2. Now, there is none that has got exactly 2. You can't even tell me that this one has got 2 because 1 0 has already been covered. It's like cancelled. So in that case here now, I descend down to 1 0. So I'm looking for that row or a column that has got 1 0. So 1 0, I can see A has got 1 0. I'll start with it. I can see B has got 1 0. I go straight away there. I can see D has got 1 0 straight away there. Once I have my lines, I'll come on top of number of lines used. We'll see in our tomorrow I also want to give you a free class. In our tomorrow's class, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be showing you a question which will not be balanced, a question which will not be optimal. How do we tackle them? So number of lines, ladies and gentlemen, here that we have used are 4. And then we have here, we compare this to number of rows. This is a formula. Number of rows are how many? They are 4. We are lucky because the 2, ladies and gentlemen, happens to be what here? The same. Once they're the same, we say they are what here? Optimal. The table is optimal. The table is the best. You can't get any other table that will be able to give you minimum time like this one. So once I have my optimal table, the next thing, of course, many people will not be able to understand my workings. I need to interpret. So I will interpret assignment boxes. You look for that row that has got a single 0. When it comes to assignments, you look for singles. You don't look, in this case here, for married people. Assignment is singles. So we're looking for singles. So we have here like single 0. Remember, for assignment, let me repeat again here. For assignment, always go for single zeros along the rows. So like now row 1, do we have a single 0? Yes. So you build the cut. You place the assignment box there. Once you place it there and ensure that there is no any other 0 here, fortunately there is none, there's no any other 0 there. If there were any, I would have cancelled. Because this is a powerful, it pushes. Come to row B, do we have a single 0? Yes, so I build that. And ensure the moment I've done that, we do not have any other 0 there, we don't have any other 0 there. We are fine. Come to C. How about C? C, I can see 2 zeros. So first of all, I leave it out. I'll come in this case here to D. D, ladies and gentlemen, I can see a single 0. So come straight away and build that single 0. After you build it like that, do the test. Here, single 0, which I was able to. Here, I can see there is a 0 here, which is hanging. There is no possibility of this box, which you have here, sharing a row or a column with any other 0. If there is a column here, like now, this has a 0 here, this one has to go like that. So after I've done that, I'll be able to know from the boxes given that A will be given M1. B will be given what here, somebody? M3. And then we have C. C will be given C. Sorry. After I put this here, I need to go back to C and check whether now we have got a single 0. Yes, it is there. So then C will be given to what here? To M2. And then now we have D, which will be given to D, which will be given to M4. So I hope I've answered the question they wanted me to answer, I've done what they wanted me to do. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the class, and I would want to just take this opportunity to tell you that RCM College, in partnership with the RCM publishers, RCM College, in partnership with the RCM publishers, we are offering great online classes where we charge for each subject regardless of the level. For each subject regardless of the level, we are only charging what here? 100 shillings per lesson. 100 shillings per lesson. We started it up there, but because of COVID, people don't have money. Students were able to talk to us and told us, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you just subsidize this thing for us? And we were able to listen. And unfortunately, many students have been able to support us. Like if you look at the upper sections, 5 and 6, we are doing very well. But now we have a challenge, a small challenge in section 4 QA, among other subjects like that. And that is why I thought of having this kind of a session to enable everyone to see the kind of quality that we are able to give as RCM College. I've taught so many people, perhaps some of you have been my students at RCM and elsewhere, perhaps DASTA or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, given the years that I've taught this paper, I'm so sure, like QA, I've got what it takes to ensure that you guys pass this thing round 1. So what you need to do, number 1, join our WhatsApp groups. So we have our WhatsApp groups. If you would like to join our WhatsApp groups, you have not joined any group, simply call this number or WhatsApp that number, making a request to the gentleman there called Eric. So this gentleman will be able to straight up connect to our WhatsApp groups, where we'll be able to see announcements and where we shall be able to pass through such kind of a handouts. Like now today I gave a handout before this particular class. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the new normal. As we wish for the best and of course go back to our respective colleges, this is the thing that we have at the moment. Hii ndio fimbo ya karibu ambayo itaua nyoka. Umesikia kasi imesema hakuna postpone exams, because they know that most of their students don't read on their own. They don't even go to colleges. So with this and the subsidized rate you've given you, we should be able really to ensure that everybody passes comfortably. So we have a timetable with us, which we would like to share with you. If there is anybody who would want to reach to me in person, my number is 0721 621 83. If you have got something very serious, but otherwise, if it's about being connected to WhatsApp, the online classes, this is a number that you need to call. And I would want to get feedback about whether you guys understood what I've taught today, how the class was, and I'll also be making an announcement when I'll be doing the next class, but now in our WhatsApp group. So as we exit, how was today's class?
There's a question, how do we do the payments?
How do we do the payments? That we have a pay bill. We have a pay bill which we'll be able to share with you on WhatsApp, please. On WhatsApp, please, because I normally respect time. You can see it's exactly 2. Exactly 2. Exactly 2. And if possible, pass this information to all students in even these other colleges. Yeah, tell them that now we have a solution, so that we can have a big community. RCM, of course, you know, is a reputable college, which is registered by CASNEP, etc. We have been in the industry for long. We are actually the only college which publishes books, CPA books, which are, in this case, approved. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And for those of you, of course, who do not know me, my name is Dr. Joshua Aura. I'm the principal at RCM College, and I'm an author. I've authored about 30 books. Good afternoon.